You want to be an architect,
Maybe a truck driver?
maybe a realtor.
Something in the medical field?
Huh. Listen to Career Paths with info on that.
Thursdays. Let me turn that thing on. Remember that?
Okay.
Damn it.
So you want us to look at the camera, or you want us just to sit here and bullshit?
What bullshit?
Okay, perfect.
Very
Cool.
cash.
Very
You can go back and forth, or
Okay,
just
perfect.
stare at him.
Just laugh at me.
Yeah, well, you are entertaining. You always have been.
Thank you. Stop. Not always a good thing, but stop. Are we on yet, Dad?
You are on.
Fantastic. Welcome to Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Behind the scenes, Mr. Ryan King. Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
Today our guest is Mike Ankney. Mike, how you doing?
Good.
You can shake my hand this way. It's been a while since we saw each other.
It has been.
But I've been trying to get you on the show for a while.
Yes, you have been.
But things haven't, schedules haven't mixed, but here we're, finally got you here. How's the wife and kids?
Wife and kids are doing great.
How's the dogs?
No dogs.
You don't have dogs?
No, we're cat people.
Are you cat?
Yeah.
I didn't, for some reason I didn't see that on your Facebook.
Yeah.
I know you love baseball.
I love baseball.
CFC, pay attention.
Yeah.
See, I'm the football guy.
Yeah.
But
I'm a football guy too.
I can't. Hopefully we get our indoor arena football this season.
I see that. I also hear we're getting an ABA team.
That's baseball, right?
No, that's basketball.
So, there you go. See, I don't even know that.
That's a new one. I mean, Spokane's coming up, I guess.
Wow. ABA. What's ABA stand for?
I believe they're going to model it after the old ABA, so it's the American Basketball Association.
Wow. Nice. Thanks, Mike. And we also know each other. We actually met. We were talking about this before the show. Met each other through music.
Through music,
A lot of my guests, I've had same thing that we try to remember. Didn't you? But a lot of my guests have been through music.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, stop making noise back there, Mr.
Can't
King.
help it.
God, you should have set this up before you, kids these days. Okay, Mike. So, what is your official title? What do you do for a career?
Okay. What I do for a career now is I am an apprenticeship director for the Associated General Contractors here in Spokane, Washington.
Well, that sounds impressive.
Oh, it's not.
But it sounds impressive. Okay, one more time. You're
I'm the director of the apprenticeship of an
Director.
apprenticeship program.
director. That means okay.
Yeah.
So, what is that entitled?
So what I do is we are a member of the Associated General Contractors is a membership-based association for contractors. It's the oldest. It's 102 years old, and it's the largest. It's got 50,000 members.
Wow.
And about 92 chapters nationwide.
Okay.
And we have both union and non-union contractors that are members. And we sponsor some apprenticeship programs here in the local area for our non-union members.
Right.
The reason we do that is because all your trade unions already have their own apprenticeship programs, so the contractors can access apprentices
Right.
that are there. So we exist for our non-union members here locally in Spokane. We have 3 state-recognized registered apprenticeships here in the state of Washington. We have a carpenter program, a laborer program, and a heavy equipment operator program.
Wow.
And then we also operate a state-recognized pre-apprenticeship program here in Spokane that's called Head Start to the Construction Trades.
Wow.
We do a lot of different things.
You've been doing this for a while.
We've been doing this for a while. I've had my position here roughly 10 and a half years.
Okay.
Prior to that, I came out of the field. I was everything you can imagine in the construction industry on the excavation side, from the guy with a shovel in his hand
Yep.
to a dump truck driver, backhoe operator, equipment operator, project manager.
So doing this, you're not just you know what it takes.
I know what it takes.
You have the experience.
I have the
It's not like you just went from. Some people go from college and they step from college into a position without actually getting their hands dirty. You've gotten your hands dirty.
Right, yeah, definitely. I grew up
Right.
through the trenches.
Right. So we're going to take a step back. Give us a little bit of background. You don't have to give your exact age, rank, serial number. Like
Okay.
So, your age-ish.
62.
Wow. Getting ready to retire here soon, Mike? You're just enjoying life and getting geared up.
I'm enjoying life. I will tell you that I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Nice.
I'm going to work till I'm 70.
Okay.
I've already made that decision for a number of reasons. My wife is younger than me, and so she can't retire till till I turn 70.
Okay.
Okay, and then so there's plus I have a few things that I want to accomplish.
Sure.
I have a legacy that I want to leave.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
and
You and the cats?
me and the cats. Yeah,
Sure,
exactly. And then plus, you know, back when I started my career, we didn't have the opportunities for the education aspect that we now present. And what I mean by that is,
Yeah.
as part of our apprenticeship programs, we have a real strong money management component in it. So we talked about the importance of starting a retirement fund and the importance of trying to save money.
Wow.
And starting while you're young. I mean, you start while you're young saving money. You know, you can start by saving $10 a paycheck instead of waiting till you're 50, 55 years old when you've got to start saving $800 a paycheck.
Right.
Kind of thing, so you can retire.
Take a quick break. Pizza's here. So let her do that real fast. That's we'll get back to the money savings. I like that. La 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 la. The only other thing, Mike, watch your shoes.
Yeah.
You rub them like that.
Yeah.
It'll pick up.
Okay.
Just giving you a heads up.
No problem.
Coming from
Coming from the guy that.
the drummer.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's things I've had to learn,
Yeah.
and there's things that I don't do. It's like I told him. There's one of the first YouTube ones that I'm like this, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a drummer, I'm a spaz. I know I'm both, and I said, Ryan, remind me, don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. So yeah, very self-conscious of what I do and don't do. But yeah. Come on, honey. You know how to edit this part out?
On the audio. Yeah. Video, no.
Snip.
Unedited.
I've tried.
We're ordering pizza upstairs and it's coming in, so it's anybody that's watching this on YouTube. We're gonna take after we're done with Mike. We're gonna take a break, have pizza, enjoy. Hopefully, you get to have some pizza and enjoy too. If not, who cares? Order your own damn pizza.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll wing it from here. Screw it. We're on.
Really?
All it is upstairs. So saving money, that's crazy. It's like that's actually part of the program. How to?
Yep. We actually have a financial planner comes in.
Wow.
And they come in and they talk about the importance of saving money, you know, making sure that you look at investments and how to choose for yourself and what's the best plan of attack. Like I said, starting young with those
More
money
options.
and more options. Starting young though, but it will also you have the power of time working for your money.
Yeah, yeah. Power of time. I don't have any time and I have no money, so.
That's why I'm working until I'm 70.
You no kids?
I have
Kids are all out of the house.
my kids are out of the house.
So are you granddad now?
I am 5 grandkids.
Is that the better? Is granddad or dad? Which one is better?
Oh, boy.
I ask this question always.
Okay, yeah, two different scenarios. Okay, two different scenarios. Okay, has a father.
But yes.
You know, you get to have that day-to-day contact with your kids as they're growing up. You go through all their trials and tribulations, the good and the bad, and then when you finally know when you've actually made it to the top with your kids is when they quit calling you to borrow money. When they become when they become self-supportive.
So your kids have done that? They've
And
stopped.
all of my kids have done that. So
My parents can't wait for me to stop.
So
I was gonna say
that's great. I mean,
my parents never had money to borrow, so.
But I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
And then as far as being a grandparent, you only have 3 things you have to do. Okay, with the grandkids, you have to love them,
Mm-hmm.
you have to spoil them,
Yes.
and you have to give them back. And that's
I
where
always
we're at.
ask people, since I don't have kids or grandkids, I always ask those questions. Like, which one?
So it's just 2 different things. Probably one of the most rewarding experiences that you'll ever have as a parent is when you do become a grandparent, and it's because of the baby, but the big thing is when you see your child become the parent, and just the immediate growth that they accomplish.
Wow.
It's really where you can sit back and you go, you know what? Maybe I didn't do too bad a job. I was a single parent, so I raised my kids by myself.
Wow.
From a very young age.
Right.
And when you see them as adults and they start interacting with their own kids, it's a proud moment.
I bet.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I
I
learned
bet you
something.
never had that answer before.
No, and it's awesome. Once again, that's part of it. I'm always learning. Because that's one reason we do the show is hopefully we can give some information to somebody and help them out in their life. But I'm always learning, and I'm always learning from our guests, which are friends of mine, that acquaintances that I've known. I learned constantly because we know each other. We've known Mike, you and I have known each other for years. We've never talked about this stuff.
No, never.
Right there, and that's awesome for me because I just learned more. I learned more about you. Look at that. Educate this old guy.
There you go.
From one old guy to another guy. So where were we before we got to we were doing budgeting. We had a financial planner. Wow. That's
just one aspect.
no. I get it. I get it. I'm just trying to take it all in, and make sure I'm asking.
So one thing that's in our training program, our beliefs is we have to teach a lot of life skills, and why? Because the public school system doesn't do that anymore.
And I don't know why.
You know, they need to bring it back. I mean, and it's just
Common
simple
sense.
stuff. How to balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
Okay. How
What is a checkbook these days?
Yeah. Well, just how to open a bank account.
Right.
Okay. And in this day and age, a lot of people don't want to deal with banks anymore, but you have to have a bank account because the days of getting paper paychecks are done. Everybody's direct deposit.
Yep. Pretty much. Yep.
And so, but those are things that we
Help
deal
educate.
with. Help educate.
That's actually a good thing. That way it helps. Yeah. In so many ways. I don't think people take high school very serious because high school doesn't take. And I've had this discussion with high school. One of my first guests is a high school teacher, and Brandon Humphreys.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Brandon?
Yep, I remember.
And they're limited, even though they care and they want to teach and do everything, but they're limited on what they can do, and what they're supposed to do, and they might get in trouble if they do something. Teach somebody how to be financial, or to learn how to do stuff. Yeah, I don't get it. We could get into that political end of it, but I don't want to.
No, please don't.
So you've been doing, how long, you've been doing this, 10 years?
10.5 years.
And how did you go from, way back up. So when did you go to college?
I went to college very briefly. I went to Spokane Falls for a year, for a full year.
Did you realize it wasn't for you? A lot of people, a lot of our guests on here also go.
Well, what I'll tell you is it's back in 1980. I'm going to Spokane Falls. I am in their radio broadcast program.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And so I had the idea that I was going to be a disc jockey.
Sure.
Going to be a DJ. And really, what was the one thing that kind of steered me away from that was we went up and we were touring. I believe it was KGA Radio, 1510.
Wow. Yeah.
And we're taking a tour of the facility there, and the program director's there. And I was a little bit older than most of the students. I was 21, and most of the students in the class were just fresh out of high school. And so I asked the question of the program director. I said, "Hey, let's talk money. What kind of money do you make? Right. I mean, we're going to school here. What kind of money do you make?" And he came back, and I remember it's 1980, and he said, "Well, I make 25 grand a year, or something like that." So, and it was probably at that time that was probably decent money, but for me in my mind, that was nothing. Mm-hmm. That isn't what I aspired to be, and so that kind of soured me a little bit on that. What he failed to mention to me is, yeah, he got $25,000 on his paycheck, but he failed to mention all the perks. The free concert tickets, the free this, the side gigs that DJs do.
Yeah.
He never mentioned any of that to me, so I found out about that later in life. But make a long story short, so I'm going to school. I'm working at a local gas station, pumping gas. I'm your typical 21-year-old college student, dope smoking, didn't really care a whole lot about life.
That was that was illegal too, by the way.
That was the usual. Going to college, like I said, I was going out to Falls. We'd go down to here's a name from the past. We'd go down to Washboard Willie's and have lunch, have a few beers, and then go back for our afternoon classes. So anyway, long story short, so my girlfriend at the time, classic story, she came to me one day and said, "I'm pregnant," and that's when the light switch went off and said, "Okay, I need to become responsible." So what was the way to be responsible is I had a connection with the Eller family, who owns Eller Corporation, had a connection with the Woodard family here in Spokane, who had Woodard Brothers Construction at that time, and so was able to hook on with them, get a job, and start making money. Because I had a family coming.
Right.
And then, long story short, I mean, I on that just went from contractor to contractor, always taking a jump, and then eventually improving, and eventually had 2 kids, and then divorce. And then I became the custodial parents for my 2 kids, and then I really needed to work.
Yeah.
Really needed to provide for them, and construction was always a way to do that, because 1980, I'm making between $16 to $20 an hour, which was phenomenal money at the time, and then just moved up, and life's journeys took me to Seattle. Moved to Seattle in 1985 and hooked on with a contractor there. The money was better over there.
Sure, being a Seattle coast.
Yep, and then eventually decided to reach out on my own and started my own small contracting business. And
what were you doing?
Excavating. Had a couple dump trucks, a couple pieces of equipment, doing site developments and stuff like that.
Sure.
Learned a lot of different things there. Did fairly well, and then got the bright idea.
When you say bright idea.
Well, this is a bright idea. My oldest son was a elite hockey player, and so he was getting ready to go start his junior hockey career, and I had the opportunity to purchase a junior team in Eugene, Oregon, of all places.
Okay.
So I sold everything I had,
Wow.
and thought this was going to be my retirement. I was 40 years old. We moved to Eugene and was operating the hockey team, and what I can tell you is how you make $1 million in the hockey business is you start with 10 million. because you don't make any money.
Right.
Especially, and don't get me wrong, I loved Eugene, and we had a pretty decent fan base, but when you're in a college town, it's very hard to compete with college sports.
Oh yeah.
And it was very hard to compete with. I mean, if we had games scheduled when the Ducks were playing, we'd have 0 crowd.
Oh yeah.
Things like that. And just, through a series of unfortunate, bad business decisions on my part, we failed miserably.
How long?
We were there 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and we actually had a great team. We had a great team, but failed miserably financially, and the opportunity came for me to move back to Spokane, where I grew up, where I was raised.
Come back home.
Come back home. Both my kids were out of the house by then, and or the 2 kids that lived with me. Since that time, when I was age 30, I found out I had another child. So that's a whole different story. Nothing to do with career path. So
Okay.
but anyway.
We'll hit that one next time.
Yeah, but anyway, so had the opportunity to come home, and but I've always been able to fall back into construction.
Sure.
Because I had skills with that and got a good job and
Let
just
you know people.
knew people and just built things up, and then how we got to where we're at today is one winter, I was a heavy equipment operator, project manager, laid off in the wintertime of 2011. And I'm laid off. I'm actually sitting in my house in my recliner watching TV, probably watching Days of Our Lives or something like that. And I get a phone call from my employer that said, hey, the AGC Apprenticeship is looking for a heavy equipment operator instructor for 4 weeks, and it pays $400 a week. And this was on a Friday, and I remember thinking, $400 a week, I make more than that on unemployment.
Right.
But I knew what the Associated General Contractors was. I knew what their program was. I said, well, out of respect to the organization and to my boss, always call.
Sure, check it out.
So I called to the person that was looking to hire somebody. They needed somebody to start that Monday.
Wow.
So I was, like 2 or 3 days notice. I'm not going to say what it paid, but I'm going to tell you it paid a hell of a lot more than $400 a week.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to.
So the money was there for me.
So it was worthwhile.
It was worth my while. It was only a 4-week gig.
Sure.
It was only going to be four weeks, and so this was in February. 4 weeks would have taken me into March, and then we would have started working again right after that.
Right.
So, so I tell the young lady that interviewed me, I said, well, I guess I better come down and get the curriculum. So I went down Friday afternoon, got the curriculum, studied it all weekend, and then Monday I started teaching.
Wow. Have
So,
you ever taught before?
had never taught,
Besides your kids.
never had taught in a formal setting.
Right, right.
Okay.
We always teach. But,
Teach, crew hands and stuff like that.
right.
But so anyway, what happened is we're in it about 2 or 3 days, and the executive director from the AGC came down and said, hey, we're looking for a director for this program. The one that we had lined up decided not to take the gig. Okay, and I thought to myself, I wonder if he would take my resume. So I thought about it for a couple days, and his name was Wayne Brokaw. And I said, Wayne, hey, if you haven't got anybody, I'd certainly like to throw my hat in the ring.
Sure.
And he said, sure, go ahead. And so here's kind of a funny story, and being a man, I'll tell on myself here a little bit. So I go home. So he said, yes, I'll take your resume, bring it to me tomorrow. So this is on a Thursday, so I got to get it to him on a Friday. So I go home because I knew right where my resume was. I knew right where it was, so no problem. So I go up and I go to my computer and I'm going, oh shit, my resume's on my mom and dad's computer.
Whoopsie.
Okay, and they live in Coeur d'Alene and I'm way in Spokane. Well, I'm not going to drive out there, so then I just jumped on and got a Microsoft free resume template. Right?
Okay, sure.
Fill it all out. I think it looks great. Bam. Go to hit print on my computer. The printer takes a big dump. It doesn't work. Okay. So, okay, I'll just run to Staples Friday morning. I'll get it, printer, come home, print it. We're golden. So I do that. I get that, print it out. Boom, I'm down to the office and I give them my resume. So at that time, I call my employer and I say, hey, I just kind of want to let you know that I've threw my hat in the ring for this AGC job, and if I get it, I'm going to take it. And they said, well, you know what, if you get it offered, we'd kick you in the butt if you don't take it.
Wow.
It's too good a gig for you to pass up,
Wow,
and
that's
it's
good.
perfect for you.
Wow, awesome.
So, but they asked me about my resume, so I'm going through all this, and they go, tell them what I put on it. They go, well, Mike, you put all your field experience, but you didn't put any of your business experience. You didn't put any that you know how to do accounting, how to do this, you didn't put any of that on. And I said, oh shit, you're right, I didn't. So Monday I call up the AGC and I say, hey, can I give you a different resume?
Right.
And they said, yeah, great. So boom, I get that out, give them another resume.
It was updated.
Updated. They scheduled me for an interview on Friday. So at this time, we're in the middle of this heavy equipment operator training program, but just kind of like what's going on now, if you're in Spokane in mid-February, we just got a whole lot of snow.
Yeah, we just got dumped
Just
on the last
got dumped
2
on a
days.
whole lot of snow. So we had canceled training for 2 weeks
Oh, wow.
to kind of let things
Yeah.
settle down and get back, open back up. And so I go down and I interview with about 5 people
For this position.
for this position
Okay.
on Friday. Well, I knew, you have a feeling when you interview, if you ace the interview. And I knew when I walked out there Friday, I felt I did everything I could that I aced this interview, that they were going to offer me the job. But they didn't do it on the spot.
Sure.
So anyway, so Monday morning they call me about 8:30 in the morning, and I remember I'm laid off, I'm kind of groggy, and I'm half asleep. But answer the phone and basically talk about it. They go, okay, hey, we'd be interested in offering you the job. And I'm not going to tell you what my starting salary was, but they said, we're sorry, but this is all the job pays. This is all we can afford in the budget right now for our salary. They're thinking, here, they're apologizing for not being enough.
And you're thinking.
And I'm thinking, this is more money than I've ever made in my life. Okay,
So did you graciously?
no,
Well,
I said,
let me think.
Well, I said, okay, well, it is kind of low, but I'm not going to lie. And I said, but okay, I'll take it. When do you want me to start? And I'm thinking, okay, he's got a little bit of time.
Right.
It's snowy out. We're not doing anything.
Right.
And he goes, he's him and Han, and I'm going, you want me to start tomorrow, don't you? He goes, yeah, can you be down here at 8 o'clock to sign the contract? I had to sign a contract.
Right. Right.
And so that's how it started.
Wow.
And at that time, we were running right about, say, 40 apprentices, maybe at that time we only had 2 programs. We had carpenters and heavy equipment operators, Eastern Washington only. We had one major carpenter contractor, Graham Construction and Management. They were working on the North Spokane Freeway. They were working on the southbound lanes up coming down through Meade. And that's what we had. And so in the 10 years time, we now have 3 statewide programs plus the apprenticeship program, and we're running right at 300 apprentices right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of built it up.
We've generated a bit of a growth spurt here over the last few years. opening an office in Bellingham. In fact, I think the last time we tried to schedule, I forgot that I was actually on the road that week.
Oh, okay. See how you are, Mike?
Yeah, see, I say, sorry about that, but,
It's okay.
I'm glad we can hook up now, but I
Yeah.
mean, we're growing and,
Obviously.
Um,
Wow.
going on that way, so.
So it's been you went from college because you just went in for a year, you
Yep.
figured out that's not what you had, then you,
Well,
so you, it's basically you,
yeah,
boom, 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 it's a step by step.
it was a step by step. You know, as far as college was concerned, I'm gonna tell you, I liked being a student. I liked that aspect of it, but you know what? You still gotta live. You still gotta survive.
Well, that's part of, I ask questions, as
Yeah.
somebody that goes to school, what were the challenges, but obviously you weren't there very long. You know, some
Well-
people have families already when they go to school.
Right.
There's financial issues, there's, work issues.
Well, I mean, back in 1980, I think Spokane Falls was $110 a quarter. So I mean, it wasn't unaffordable. I mean, sure, now granted, wages were, I was probably making $3.25 an hour at a gas station.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
you know what, we could afford it. I mean, rent was $150 a month type of thing. But the light, I mean, when the light bulb went off for me was the fact when I had a child coming on
Right.
the way, and I got to step up to the plate. I was going
Yeah.
to be a responsible adult,
Right.
and provide for that.
So, one more time, your official title is director,
A director, apprenticeship director.
apprenticeship director, see. I'd have to practice that one. Good thing I'm not an apprentice. See, right there, I can't even say it. So what's a typical, starting from what were your tasks when you started this? When you stepped in
Okay.
the next day, what was required, daily task,
Okay.
and then how's it evolved to today?
Okay. So the daily tasks when I first started, I was given the direction to grow the program.
Obviously, you've done that.
So but it took a lot of time,
Sure, it does.
a lot of effort, a lot of help from our training partners, a lot of successful results. I mean, it was the program had been without a director for a couple of years because my predecessor had a stroke and was unable to come back. So actually, the office manager was a part-time college student, was running the programs, and she was given the task, hey, just keep this thing alive, okay? And she did that, okay? I'll tell you that. But then when I came on board, it was, okay, hey, we need to get it back on its feet. We need to grow the program, not only with training agents, which are our contractors, the companies that work with us, but also provide apprentices and things like that. So, long and hard we worked with that. I needed to hire some staff. I was also a part-time instructor at the time, and we also had another part-time instructor that taught our carpentry program. And then in meeting with our contractors, they had mentioned to us, hey, you know what, we really could use a program for construction laborers, to achieve some utilization goals. So I guess I should back up just a bit. Most of your public works projects, whether it be federal money or state money, city money, have a stipulation in these construction contracts that whether that be an equipment operator, a carpenter, a laborer, a cement mason, HVAC tech, electrician, plumber, whatever, a certain amount of the workforce has to be apprentice. So with that in mind, we had our contractors came to us and said we could use a laborer program, so we pursued that. Now, that is a task that is very daunting here in the state of Washington. You have to apply to the Department of Labor and Industries, who operates a committee called the Apprenticeship Training Council, and you have to get approved by that. But your competitors have the right to object to your program. So we filed with them for a laborers program, and we got 16 objections from the trade unions.
Wow.
Well, they don't want the competition.
Of course.
They're the only game in town.
Of course.
So it's a very daunting,
There's
very political. It's very expensive, and we spent roughly about $1 million and 3 tries to get our labor program approved. And when it all came down to it, we got approved, but we had to stay in Eastern Washington with it, which Eastern Washington is top of the mountains east.
Yeah,
Which is a fair
Yes.
size geographical area, but when you go to the west side of the state, you see go to Seattle area. So, but that's okay. We got our program and
Right.
we started with that. So, and that was due in part because our contractor said, hey, we need a labor program. So we got that rolling. Well then, due to some more legislations and things like that, our contractors came to us and said, hey, we need to be able to go take our apprentices to Seattle or to Bellingham when we go to work.
Okay.
Okay, so we applied for that, and once again,
How long did that take?
they have the ability to object.
Mhm.
Luckily, we put a little strategy to it and just did our carpenter program first, and that got objected to, and we've done probably maybe 50 grand. We fought that and got that finally approved statewide.
Wow.
And then a year later, we took our
But each,
labor.
not to interrupt, but each time you've learned some of the games that are being played.
We learned some of the
and
political
how to be
games,
prepared the next time around.
how to be prepared for
Okay,
that, definitely.
thank you.
And so then here in July of 2020, so right in the middle of COVID, and maybe COVID helped, but we applied with the state to take our labor and our heavy equipment operator program statewide, and 0 objections, so it was approved.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so,
But like I said, you've already learned some of the things that
right,
be preemptive before they can object. You're
Right.
already aware that this might come up, so let's do it this way, or
Right.
so you already dealt with it several
we
times.
dealt with it. So immediately after we got statewide authority with all our programs, we started hitting up contractors on the west side, and they like what we do because we're a nonprofit,
Awesome.
which is number one. So we're able to offer it as a member benefit, you know,
What's a member of benefit?
well, to our members, you have to,
Okay.
in order to utilize our programs, you need to be a member of the Associated General Contractors. And so it's just an added member benefit. Now, there is a cost, and
Sure.
it's not cheap. I'm gonna say it's affordable.
Right.
Our programs are affordable, especially when you look at what our competition charges. But the reason we're more affordable is the way I have a very efficient staff. I'm blessed that, I would think one of the things that I'm proudest of that I've done has under my directorship is I've hired a great staff. I've assembled a great team.
There you go.
And by
Staff.
assembling a great team, that they see my passion for what I do, they have the passion for it too, but they believe in the task, they believe in the mission, and they see that it's worthwhile. One thing that I gotta say that I truly love about my job is the benefit of working for a nonprofit is it's not about the bottom line.
Right.
As long as we can, at the end of the year on our balance sheet, we can show that we made $1,
Ooh.
it's been a great year. And I mean that seriously.
No, I
You know,
understand.
all the bills have been paid, everything. If we
Right.
can show a profit of $1, it's been a great year. You know, like I said, we've achieved some tremendous growth,
Sounds like it.
especially in the last year and a half. But things are going well with that. You know, now one of the things that I'm working on. Remember earlier in the podcast, I was talking about leaving a legacy when I retire.
Yes.
So one of the things that I'm working on now is how to get the apprentices to get college credit for completing the apprenticeship program.
Ooh,
Okay, which that is something that's
should be doable.
well, it's doable.
Just gotta
and
put
it's
the
out
piece.
there.
Right.
Well, I mean, so most of the apprenticeship programs are associated with a community college. We are currently associated with a Spokane Community College, and I'm in the process of here in the not too distant future of also signing an agreement with Bellingham Technical College.
Wow.
So those apprentices can get college credit. Now, what that'll do is when they graduate out of the apprenticeship program, they will only be 15 to 20 credit hours short of getting their AA.
Wow.
Okay, so the classes that they'll have to take, you know, they'll have to take the English Lit or whatever,
Right,
some
right.
of those other classes.
Right.
But they're going to get some good lifetime credit for completing the apprenticeship program. Now-
And they're getting paid. They're working. They're learning.
They're learning, they're getting paid, and they're not acquiring debt.
Yeah.
There's no college debt here yet. I'm not talking anything about college debt.
Right.
So then, we're also trying to sign a deal where we can make those AA degrees transferable, so they can end up going to four-year university and
Wow.
converting those AA degrees into Bachelor of Science degrees in a focus on like construction management or project management. So those are some great benefits because not only do you get the degree, so when we're talking to parents or high school students, and you know, the ones of us that are parents, oh, well, you got to go to college. You know, we want you to go to college.
Right, something, yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't want to go to college.
It's not for, everybody isn't cut up for college. The college debt these days is incredible.
Correct, but here's a way that, okay, hey, I can go to work in the trades, but I can still get my degree.
Mhm.
So you're satisfying mom and dad.
Yep, and you're still learning, and you're still making money, and you're still moving your,
Exactly.
wow.
You know,
It's almost like you've thought of this.
we put a lot of thought and effort into it, and I mean, you've got me talking a little bit about what our goals and stuff are for like that are, so,
That's fine.
you know.
That's,
So,
it's what you do. This is why career paths, it doesn't, where you're at now that's the whole thing. Is
right,
what, how, and where. And you're making it easier for other people to get in construction,
well,
to move their life forward in many ways because of the mistakes or the situations you ran into
Right.
going through your life.
well, in my world, I believe that the world evolves around construction. Okay, people look at me like, what do you mean by that? And what I'm gonna say is if we didn't have construction, there wouldn't be nothing else to do, okay? If we didn't have construction, we wouldn't have this beautiful home we're sitting in.
That's true.
Okay. If we didn't have construction, we wouldn't have the streets out front that we can drive to. If we didn't have construction, we wouldn't have a plant that builds trucks and cars.
Yep.
We wouldn't have an Amazon, see? We have to have that. You wouldn't have the fuel industry,
Yep.
okay? Because, you know, the fuel gets used.
Gotta be built.
So it's gotta be built, and it's always gonna be there, because the life cycle of a building here in Spokane, and once again, dating myself, and we had talked about Woodard Brothers. So, if you're in Spokane, if you're from Spokane, you're probably familiar with the Rainbow Elementary Schools, okay? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
there's several right here. They're the buildings that got the rainbows on the side.
Okay.
Those buildings were built in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of them. There was like 13 or 14 of them built, okay? So I worked on those when they were originally built, okay? I've also worked on them when they got remodeled.
Uh-huh.
And I've also worked on them when they started to demolish them to replace, which that's the case they're in now. They're starting to demolish old schools to build new ones.
So you're in construction, you're saying. So construction.
Construction is a lifetime, it's a lifetime cycle.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. The benefit to apprenticeship is A, you make good money. You're not acquiring student debt. It is a job. Okay, you're learning.
Yep.
And you get steady raises. It's the only time in your life, in your whole career, that if you come in to an apprenticeship program, that you're going to get a raise every 6 to 8 months for the next 4 years. Okay?
Wow.
And those raises are going to be at least 5%. Okay.
Wow.
Well, anybody that's worked any kind of a job knows that raises, if you get one a year, is great. And if that raise is 3%,
Right.
that's even better.
Right.
So apprenticeship offers a great way for you to build your career. Now, granted, you start at a lesser wage, okay? But still, my lowest paying job right now here in Eastern Washington is $15 an hour
Wow.
to start. So, I mean, it's not great,
It's not bad though.
but it's better than minimum wage. But within a year,
Yeah.
you're up to almost $20.
Wow.
Now, that's on private work. Prevailing wage is much higher. You know, a level 1 carpenter on prevailing wage right now starts at about $26 an hour. Now, that includes the benefit package too. So,
Right.
so that's the other thing we haven't talked about is these construction jobs not only pay well, but they provide good benefits. They health and you know, dental and vision and retirement,
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, we have apprentices that are putting 10 to 15 grand a year in their retirement program alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not bad. And they're not building, they're not accruing debt
Yeah,
through school.
No college debt.
And they're
I mean-
working, they're learning a trade,
They're learning a trade.
or many trades.
Yeah. I mean, my sale point when I talk to many young people, and let's just compare going to college to going into my carpenter apprenticeship, let's say. So you take the path that you're going to go to college, and I'm talking major university, okay?
Sure.
So you're going to go to Wazoo, okay? I'm a Coug, go Cougs. So you're going to go to Wazoo, UW, or wherever you're going to go. What's it going to cost you a year to go to school? So, you know, but when I ask you that question, Vic, as I'm asking you, okay, it's not only tuition, but
No.
you know what, you got to live away from home.
Yep.
You've got your books, you've got your food money, you've got all that stuff. What's it going to cost you? Well, the number that I like to use, because you know, I'm kind of a little bit of a redneck, so I need to use numbers that I can multiply easily in my head. So I use 40 grand a year. Okay, that includes everything to go to major university. So 4 years down, you know, everybody knows that most of your degrees take 4 years. So 4 years times 40,000 is $160,000. Well, I ask people, especially these kids in high school, how are you going to pay for that? Well, I don't know. I'm going to get a scholarship or mom and dad. Well, I don't care how you're going to pay for it, but somebody's paying for it, 160 grand.
Right.
And what do you get at the end of the deal?
Yep.
Okay, at the end of 4 years, what do you get?
Nothing. You don't.
Well, no,
nothing.
you get your degree.
Yeah, you're not
Get your
guaranteeing
degree.
any work though.
You have a lot of fun. You've made lifelong
Hopefully.
friends. You know,
Hopefully.
you've made lifelong friends, and you've had the college experience, and I won't deny that for anybody. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, at the end of the 4 years, you have your degree. Do you have a job? There's no guarantee.
No.
You don't have a job. Do you have a place to live?
No.
Probably not. So what are you doing? You're moving back home. Well, what's the classic? I tell you what, mom and dad, you know, your bedroom that they have is now the man cave.
Or
Maybe it's the
office.
music room or the office, it's whatever. So you
Right.
are now that 22, 23-year-old kid in the basement sleeping
Right.
on the couch. Okay.
Right.
Apprenticeship is 4-year thing. What do you get at the end of the 4 years? You get your journey card. Do you have a job? Yes, you've had a job for 4 years.
Right. You've already
Okay.
been employed for.
You've already been there. I guarantee, you know, I'm not going to put this in writing, but I'll tell you, if you come into my apprenticeship program, one of my programs, and you start as a freshman, and you graduate out as a senior, so in 4 years, I will guarantee you, not in writing,
That's right.
you will have made $150,000.
Instead of being
Okay,
in
instead
debt.
of $160,000 in debt, and you have a job. Where are you living? You've made that kind of money. You damn well better be out of mom and dad's
Yeah,
house.
no kidding.
Okay, I don't care what you're driving today. You're going to be driving something different in 4 years. Okay, maybe if you've taken our financial planning and taken it to heart, maybe you're a homeowner
Already.
okay.
Yeah.
already. Because I'll guarantee you, by the time, if you're on a prevailing wage job, by the time you're in your 3rd year, you'll be making well over $30 an hour. Okay, if you don't believe me, lni.wa.gov. Check out the prevailing wage rates.
How does somebody contact you or contact?
Oh, to find out about the program?
Yeah.
Sure. My contact information is, you can reach me through the Inland Northwest Associated General Contractors. My website is nwagcapprenticeship.org. And, but if you can remember Associated General Contractors and just Mike Ankney, they'll route you to me. Okay. They can contact you
Contact us through Career Paths,
through Career Paths.
because we'll have the link now, because actually we'll end up having you on the show again in probably 4 or 6 months and go over more, because during the summer I know you'll be crazy busy, but
Oh.
I'll still wait for
Sure.
a quick
I'd love to.
update, because we're getting to the point where we want to do updates with people, find out where, what, and how, and
Okay.
see what else we can do to help out.
So another program I'd like to just take a few minutes to talk about is
Sure.
my pre-apprenticeship program.
Pre-apprenticeship.
It's a pre-apprenticeship program, and what's that is that is a, it's called Head Start to the Construction Trades. We conduct it here locally in Spokane. It is a intense 6-week program, 180 hours in those 6 weeks that we introduce people to the skilled trades. Okay, and this program is designed for either people that are unskilled or underskilled, or people that might be down on their luck, or people that are looking for a career change. The program is free; it's no cost to the participant. Now, you don't get paid to attend, so I mean it's 9 to 3 Monday through Friday for 6 weeks. But if you will invest your time in the program, you get exposed to the construction trades. You get exposed to some carpentry, some heavy equipment operating, some laboring. You know, we take the participants out and around to different apprenticeship centers, both union and non-union, so they can see the opportunities that are there. We do some job site tours. All the participants, when they graduate, they receive their first aid CPR card. They receive their flagger certificate, so they can go out and actually be a flagger.
Wow.
Okay, which is a great opportunity for people.
Yep.
They also receive what's known as their OSHA 10 card, which is a construction safety card.
Mhm.
It's a very valuable tool in the toolbox. Plus, they've been exposed to, like I said, several different trade opportunities.
Sure.
They've also get some life skills in there, some life coaching skills, resume writing and interview skills, they get a money management portion, so they know
Nice.
that.
Wow.
There is opportunity in there too for some support service dollars. So say we have an individual that comes in that graduates our program and has an opportunity to present himself, and he's to be a carpenter and he needs tools. We have some support service dollars there that we can maybe help him purchase some tools or
Help him get
or get
going.
him help him
Wow.
get started.
Jeez,
Okay? So that's
how can somebody not, these days, the opportunity, that's, okay,
Yeah.
I'm
So-
blown away, but that's awesome.
No, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
There's several of them. It's grant funded, so I want to give a shout out to our funders there, which is the city of Spokane, Spokane County, Spokane County United Way, state of Washington. You know, give a shout out to
Sure,
some of our
exactly.
people there that help out with that. We're so dependent on those grant dollars. And we have several community training partners with that. Greenstone Development is a big provider for us, along with Star Rentals and Salem Lutheran Church, which houses our program for us. And you know, then some of our members, you know, Garco, Max J. Cooney, are involved in our program too. So, but it's a great opportunity for people that may not know what they want to do. We're also looking for very diverse people in that. You know, ladies, construction is for you. We believe
Don't
in
be
a diverse
afraid.
workforce.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. You know, you don't need to be the big behemoth, strong woman to be successful in our career.
Oh,
We've got many women in our operator program, our laborer program, and our carpenter program, and we have a lot of women have come through our pre-apprenticeship. And give a shout out to the Women Helping Women Fund. They've funded us for a few years, and those classes, if you were to talk to my instructors, the classes that Women Helping Women Fund helped provide for, they were classes of all female.
Wow.
And if you were to ask my instructors what their favorite classes are, they will all tell you that it was the all female classes, because they just had so much fun.
Right.
You know, they were learning a trade and learning how to use tools and building some wonderful things, planters, and we have a project house on the South Hill.
I don't even know how to make a planner.
Yeah,
I'm not
well, I'll be the first one to. I am not a carpenter.
I'm not a
Okay, I
carpenter.
watch a lot of YouTube videos when I do projects around the house. Okay,
Thank God.
but no, it's been wonderful. Those classes have been awesome. So on the Head Start to Construction, if you're looking for something to do, and you don't know where to go, I mean, give us a shout out. Head Start to Construction on Facebook is our Facebook page there.
Always a way to find you.
Always a way to find me.
Come through us. We'll connect you with Mike.
So
You're looking for a future.
looking for a future, definitely. So, and with that in mind, something to throw out is, you know, we're felon friendly. Okay, the construction industry believes in second chances. They believe in third chances, and you know, if you've got a felony in your background, we don't look at that as a deterrent. Okay, I mean, we're gonna look at it, and
Everybody makes mistakes.
everybody makes mistakes. You know, we're gonna look at it. We're gonna discuss it with you. Make sure that you've learned your lesson.
Right.
And you remember the thing about a felony is you cure that the same way you cure bad credit and time. You know,
Do the right thing.
how long has it been? You know, I just met with a contractor today. We were talking about felons, and if you would have asked me this question 5-6 years ago, I would have given you a different answer. But the question now, why is a felon such a great opportunity for an employee, especially if they've just freshly released? Well, it's a great opportunity for people for lots of reasons. Number one, you know that they've been drug and alcohol free for 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, you know that they've got to stay drug and alcohol free for at least the next couple of years, because they're under parole or probation, and they're subject to randoms. Okay. And really, in all honesty, the last thing they want to do is go back.
Yeah.
And the reason that most people go back is because they can't find anything else to do, so they go back to their old habits.
Right.
Well, here's the opportunity, and a lot of these
Change the life.
change of life, and a lot of these people have taken some type of skilled training while they were in,
Right.
while they were in lockup. So we actually teach this program at Geiger, at the
Wow.
Geiger County lockup. COVID shut us down, and for lots of different reasons. So we're hoping to pick it back up once
Sure.
we start getting a little more open, with some great results. The rate of recidivism that we've had with the people that have taken our classes, usually the average rate of recidivism is in the 60 to 65% range. We're down in the 35% range.
Wow.
So, I mean, still not stellar, but good numbers.
Yeah, definitely an improvement.
And
Wow.
what makes that particular program so amazing is to kind of tell you a little bit about the background with that. So we had an instructor, or we have an instructor, and we went to go to Geiger, and had done some successful training there in the past, but we hired this new instructor and said, okay, well, here's our new instructor, so we're going through the background check with him, and he doesn't pass the background check. And we knew he had a background.
Sure.
Okay, we knew it. So,
Sure.
I mean, the guy's a great guy, but he didn't pass the background check because he hadn't been out of Geiger long enough. So he hadn't been out long enough where he could come back in as a subcontractor.
Oh, okay.
So we're panicking, and finally we said, hey, what about, all your guys that go through our program are all approved for work release? Or it's where they can come out and they go, yeah, they're all approved for that. So they all work on our county sheriff's work crews. So they're all approved to come outside the gates. Well, why can't we do that with the training? And we worked it out, and they
Wow.
could. So they come up and they come into the training classes. They go up to our project house and work. And now they're supervised. We have,
Sure.
have an officer with us at all times, but we've never had any issues. There's never been any problem. The neighbors where we're working up on the South Hill, they have no problem with it. They see what the guys are trying to do to improve their lives.
Sure.
So we've had some great success there.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's what we do. We're all about opportunities, community service, and providing employment opportunities for individuals to better themselves.
Wow. Ryan, you got any questions for Mike?
No, no.
Mike, you can tell Mike's covered this. Wow. Definitely, if you want to improve your life, if you don't know where you're going to go, I mean, what a way to go.
Well,
Make money and learn and
Definitely, and
give you something to do.
and
give your trades.
if somebody just wants to contact me and say, man, I really don't know what I want to do, and let me talk to you. My philosophy is I really don't care where you go to work,
Right.
as long as you go to work. And trust me. I mean, if you'd be better off to be in a union program, I would send you to the union program.
Sure.
I mean, the apprenticeship is the opportunity for you to provide for yourself and to change your life. And it doesn't do me any good to put you in my carpenter program if you want to be an electrician. If you want to be an electrician, go be an electrician.
Right, exactly.
Okay, get in those and do whatever you got to do that. So when I talk to people about when they're trying to make a career choice, and you can relate to this being a musician, is find something that you're passionate about.
Yes.
And go for it.
Yep.
Because if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you don't work a day in your life. And I mean, that's where I'm in my life now. I don't get up in the morning and go, shit, I got to go to work anymore. I don't say that.
You've been doing this 10 years. You can definitely tell you are very passionate about this, Mike.
But I mean,
Very
it's
passionate.
and one of the reasons I am is this is a pay it forward for me. Okay.
I understand that.
40 years ago, I was working for a contractor, and I had this old grizzled guy. Still remember him to this day. His name was Andy Anderson. And
Andy.
So I was 25, newly married, kid on the way, and Andy was probably 60, and he just came up to me, and he talked like this, talked like a pirate kind of, and he said, Mike, I'll tell you what, I'll teach you everything I know. I'll teach you how to do everything this company does, every piece of equipment, everything you need to know to be successful here, under one condition. And I said, Andy, what's that condition? He goes, when the opportunity comes for you, you got to pass it along.
There you go.
That's what I'm doing. I'm passing it along. It's time to pass the torch.
I understand. So we're gonna go back on track. Which is fine. Not every interview is the same. We're gonna go back because we're about done. Because we've hit it. We will get you back on, Mike.
Okay.
We will go again.
No problem.
Definitely very passionate about what you're doing and passing along and making a difference in other people's lives. Definitely, I think that's maybe one reason we like each other. We're gonna step.
Well, I never said I liked you, Vic.
That's true. Funny how most people don't say that.
I'm not afraid to.
What did you want to be when you were a kid? What was your dream? Did you want to be an astronaut or a cowboy or or a fireman, or
I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player.
is that why you're so passionate about in baseball?
Yeah. I'm a sports fanatic.
Right.
In fact, that's a whole nother time. I mean, if you want to talk Zags and Cougs, let's go. But that's going to be another 2 or 3 hour podcast. Okay. No, baseball was the sport back when in the '60s and in the '70s when we were there. The NFL was just coming on to get real popular. NBA wasn't very popular at all.
No.
And
Baseball was the thing.
Baseball was the thing, and let's face it, baseball is a sport that anybody can play.
Yeah.
Okay. You just get your buddies together and you go to the park.
Yeah, we have fun.
I'm one of those die-hard baseball fans. I love a 1-0 pitcher's duel. I don't need to see 15 home runs in a game. I'm passionate about that. But the thing that has a baseball fan, it's a visiting sport. It's a time for Victor, you and I can go to a game and we can sit there and watch the game and we can do exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
what I
just
do. Yeah, because when I go to like Indians or Mariners games,
You're visiting, and that's great. And don't get me wrong, I'm a football fan.
But that's what you wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome.
I did.
What position?
I was a first baseman.
Get some action there.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little limelight.
Yeah, a little limelight. But no, it was great. It was just high school athletes.
No, I can't. No, the question was just what did you want to be when you were growing up? Everybody has. It's funny how somebody can go from, I wanted to be a fireman or I wanted to be a policeman, and then end up wherever they end up doing, which is just sometimes how life treats.
Baseball player, three or four things happened. A, realization. I didn't have the talent. 2, I had discovered.
As a baseball player.
Yeah, as a baseball player. 2, I discovered women. 3, I discovered alcohol, and then the rest is history.
I had older brothers in rock and roll.
Yeah. Sure. There you go.
I wanted to be a rock and roll drummer when I 10 years old. I decided I wanted to be a rock and roll drummer.
Okay, I could see that.
There's a whole story.
And you
about
still
that.
want to be a rock and roll drummer, right?
I'd like to try it one of these days. Oh my God! Anything else you'd like to add, Mike? We will have you back on the show again.
Victor, it's been a pleasure. I wasn't really sure what to expect, and it's
Basically,
been a pleasure.
what do you do and what you're doing now, and once again, you're at the point in your life you want to make a difference in other people's lives, and you're in the position to do it. Hopefully, I'm in the position, Ryan and I, and definitely appreciate all the information. There's a lot to take in.
Sure.
Listen to it again. Once again, how do you contact you, Mike?
Okay. You can contact me through the Associated General Contractors here in Spokane. We have a website, which is nwagcapprenticeship.org. Facebook is AGC Apprenticeship, Head Start to Construction Trades. Contact me through you.
Yes.
I guess one thing that, if I could just take a moment to share a couple things, is, as I mentioned earlier, find something that you're passionate about and you'll never work a day in your life. Also, if you're young and you're still living at home, have a nice sit-down, respectful conversation with your parents about what you're thinking about for a career. Just because mom's a doctor and dad's a doctor doesn't mean that you necessarily want to be a doctor. If you want to be a rock star, take Victor's path, okay? But the problem is that, not the problem, but the issue is you're the one. It's your life going forward. I remember my dad coming to me and going, you know what, it's time for you to choose a career. Think about what you're going to be doing for the next 40, 50 years. That's a long time.
It is.
And really, if you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, if you have a nice, sit-down, respectful conversation with your parents, they're going to appreciate that more than you know. Also, love your grandparents and talk to your grandparents, because people my age, my parents are the last ones that lived through the Depression and the World War II. And if you don't know those history, that saying that history repeats itself, it does. So I strongly suggest, as a young person, just so you know what your family background from grandma and grandpa, you will appreciate it as you get older. I know I'm way off base. I tend to squirrel.
I agree with you, because
I've
I've been fortunate to I've had those conversations with my grandparents and parents, and I'm grateful to this day that I've had them. So, yeah.
But anyway, like I said, be passionate about what you do, and you'll never work a day. So thank you for your time.
Michael, thank you. Wow. Kind of a different group as episode, which is great. I love that we don't have a format that we always
Sure.
follow. There you go. Ryan, anything else you'd like to add?
We will put all your information in the show notes.
Okay.
So there,
So-
we'll put it out there. Please contact. If you're looking for something to do, worst case scenario, Mike can give you a direction or
Yeah.
give you some information.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Career Paths by Infonet. Please like, please subscribe. Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment to do with Mike. Mike was great. I suck. I'm okay with that. It's your life. Make it happen. Next time, have a good day.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Michael, you are very passionate about what you